Good day, everyone. I am so excited to be here. Welcome, good day from Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, to everyone in Korea and anywhere you are in the world. I thank you so much for today's opportunity. So excited to be your keynote speaker. How I got to this space in diversity and right here with the Black Collegiate Gaming Association, also known as BCGA, was actually a full circle moment. I have been gaming for well over 35 years. I started in my Atari and Xbox days, so I am telling my age. A lot of you probably weren't even born when Atari and the original Xbox gaming system were around, and we were playing esports and gaming. So I'm so excited for what we're doing and the historic place that I've made in the world as the first Black African American woman to create a collegiate esports and gaming company. Diversity far, and what I love so much about gaming is that it looks like all of us. It is all of us. And how I decided to create the Black Collegiate Gaming Association happened back in May when the world came to an end. Prior to starting the Black Collegiate Gaming Association, I also own an agency called Insights Marketing, where we spent over 22 years of working in multicultural marketing, diversity and inclusion training, and more importantly, experiential marketing and reaching and touching individuals of all nationalities, shades, and genders. And what surprised me when the pandemic hit was I needed to figure out a way that I could evolve and still coexist in this space that we know best, which is multicultural and diverse consumers. The esports and gaming industry, as you all are well aware, has and is pandemic proof, which is an amazing statement and an amazing opportunity, especially for diverse consumers. I was talking to my 11-year-old nephew, who's an avid gamer, and he's been playing at least for the last 3 years. And I came home to surprise him for his 11th birthday, and he would not come out of his room. My sister was concerned about the fact that he was spending so much time gaming, especially since school was virtual now. And so I went in to talk to him to understand what games he was playing, because she was concerned that he may be playing around with adults and people that weren't of his age. So he showed me, and I've worked for years in this space with our professional athlete clients doing Madden 21 and NBA 2K tournaments. And he started showing me the games he was playing. He introduced me to his friends who were from all and looked like, everybody but us. He also showed me the schools and the places where he wanted to play. And those schools did not look like us. And so I asked him, I said, it doesn't concern you that, one, there are no women that looks like your aunt. Two, there's no individuals that look like you that you're playing with. And, he wanted to be a professional gamer. And so, to get to the slide where we are now and to make sure that around diversity, sports, and gaming, that Black consumers make up well over 70% of individuals that play esports games right now between the ages of 13 and 24. 70%. Considering the fact that less than 1% of those same individuals are professional gamers. Less than 1%. When you look at the corporate industry and the makeup of corporations, less than 3% of individuals working in the industry are African American or Black descent. Less than 3%. So there's a huge opportunity for diversifying the pipeline, and one of the reasons why we created the Black Collegiate Gaming Association. Another thing is when you look at women of color, are severely underrepresented as well in the overall esports and gaming space in terms of those individuals that are making and creating the games. But we're playing the games. It's estimated, and it took a lot of time for us to research and find these numbers. We went across a lot of different mediums and vehicles to put together the numbers that you're going to see on not just this slide, but the slide that follows. But less than 5% of professional gamers are women. Less than 5%. We make up an estimated between 15 and 24% of individuals that are playing in gaming right now, of all ages. Women do, however, make up larger numbers in the esports and gaming industry. We represent and account for more than 23% of individuals in the corporate space. When we started looking into Hispanic and Asian numbers, they're even smaller. And so there's a huge opportunity to diversify this space. And I've always told people one of the reasons why I chose green as the color for the Black Collegiate Gaming Association is, and what I love about gaming is, there's really the only color we should be focused on is green. Money, opportunity, the fact that we're virtual, but unfortunately, in our realistic world, we have to do a better job of diversifying this space and providing opportunities. Because once you have individuals who are working in the industry that look like that are playing the game and represented in those numbers, you truly can appreciate the games that you play every day. And that's another thing I thought was a huge opportunity. I started looking at the top games that people playing, both esports games and even mobile games. There weren't a lot of characters and individuals in those games that look like the individuals that are spending the money and spending the time for the professional gaming. So it's an opportunity to create and get more game developers and have more individuals who are in the places to make the decisions of what and who the individuals are that we cater to, and with diversifying marketing and esports. On the next slide, you'll see where we talk about our HBCUs, our historically Black colleges and universities, which is where Black Collegiate Gaming Association decided to start our efforts, especially from a Black consumer in the esports marketing area. HBCUs, which historically Black colleges and universities are called, are and represent, I'd say, with degrees where 40% of African Americans that have Bachelor's of Science, Bachelor of Arts degrees graduate from HBCUs. We also represent somewhere between 12 and 20% of students that have PhDs and secondary degrees come out of our HBCUs. HBCUs, there are 104 in the United States, of which 97 are accredited. But the greater opportunity and the reason why we decided to approach historically Black colleges and universities first with an overall mission of helping Black college students and women of color diversify and become contributors in the esports and gaming space is because of the size and the reach of HBCUs. But when you look at HBCUs and where they are with esports and gaming, it's dismal. In the fall of 2020, only 2 of our historically Black college university campuses even had degrees in esports and gaming. 2 out of 97 accredited HBCUs. And one of those schools just came on with offering a minor this fall. 2. When you look at our esports and gaming labs on our campuses, up until fall of 2020, 0 of our campuses had dedicated esports and gaming labs for our students to be able to practice, play, and learn and understand more. And so when you're looking at diversifying and marketing to esports and gaming, and the students and Black college students especially don't have access to or resources to play the game, then there's a huge opportunity there. And that's something that we plan on not only addressing, but solving for our historically Black colleges and universities. Because we know if we get these amazing graduates across all types of degrees offerings that can be used in esports, whether it's entertainment, broadcasting, sound, graphic design, management, finance, then it can start at our historically Black colleges and universities. And we're excited about bridging that gap with esports and diversity through our historically Black colleges and universities. On the next slide, you'll see some other ways that we're also going to be working on and giving you some background on the Black Collegiate Gaming Association. As I mentioned, it's an opportunity not to just contribute to the esports space by producing gamers and professional gamers, when I say gamers, but it's also, more importantly, a long-term opportunity to create, produce, and train contributors that can be working in the esports and game industry for the next 15, 20 years plus, with those amazing individuals getting degrees and getting internships and job opportunities to help diversify the pipeline and start building and creating and continue to create and build, I should say, amazing gaming systems and games for the wide world of esports. We're also into scholarships, building and helping them create esports and gaming labs at the campus level, mentoring, getting students mentors that look like them, that are successful in the industry right now, that can help them to drive and create their path to be successful in esports. And we're also looking at building esports teams on the campuses. Again, as of this fall, only less than half a dozen schools had esports teams. Half a dozen, 97 accredited institutions. So there's a huge opportunity, a huge upswing, and we're so excited to be a part of it. Now to talk more about some other specific properties that we're creating. That's one, continue to create history in 2020 with an industry that's been around, like I said, at least 35 years from when I've been playing. We're doing that with the next slide around Black College Con, which is going to be a virtual summit in the spring of 2020 in February during Black History Month. That's going to connect Blacks in esports in the gaming industry, executives, game changers, producers, developers, with Black college students who are interested in esports and gaming. And these are Black college students, regardless of where they are in the world, regardless of whether they attend an HBCU or not, will be able to attend Black College Con. It'll be a day of what we're calling conversations with those executives in esports and gaming. It's also going to be connecting them to job opportunities in the form of internships and jobs. And then the day will close out with a competition in esports to award them scholarships and prizes that they can take back to help them continue their educations and matriculation at their colleges around the world. This is the first of its kind, and we've done the research. There is no other platform or summit like Black College Con, so we're so excited about not only the potential, but the opportunity that it will connect in helping to diversify in esports and gaming and help individuals who are already marketing and working in the industry to not only pay it forward, but also pay it back and connect college students with an understanding and a knowledge of esports and gaming and the things that they can do above and beyond just playing the game that they're currently doing and for recreational purposes. The other opportunity, which is also historic and game-changing, is Women Got Game. That summit will take place in March during what the United States recognizes, and I hope a lot of the world now, as Women History Month. It's going to be the first of its kind, again, to bring women of color, Black, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, Native American, any woman of color that's interested in esports as gaming is the audience that we'll be connecting and networking with during our Women Got Game Summit. It will take place the third weekend in March, and it's an opportunity, again, to connect women of color, executives, leaders, and changers with young women at the college level and or young women who are interested in going into esports and gaming, with connecting them with conversations with those individuals and a chance for Q&A. It's an opportunity for connecting to career opportunities, and then closing out with with a competition in esports to get scholarships and job opportunities. I'm so excited about what there is to come in diversifying marketing in esports. I look forward to your questions and working with you all. Please follow us on social media at BCGA USA. You can also follow us on our website at bcgausa.org. And I so thank you again to the Global Esports Executive Summit for this opportunity. And I look forward to the rest of the day and evening.
All right, thank you very much, Keshia Walker, for your wonderful presentation. I'd also like to welcome you to Busan. How are you today?
Thank you. Excited. I love it. I've actually been to Busan before and looking forward to coming back and joining you next year when we're able to do so in person.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation and for joining us here today to take some of our viewers' questions. So hopefully everyone watching online, you've had a chance to submit your questions either through our website or through the YouTube comments. And I want to thank Keshia for being here to answer some of your questions. So I'll just go ahead and read a few of the questions that we've received so far, starting with a question that says, what are some of the BCGA activities that promote outreach to entities outside of the Black collegiate community?
Yes, and thank you so much. Excellent question. One of which I mentioned during the presentation, which is Women Got Game, who is targeting women of color, regardless of, it's not excluding Blacks, but Asians, Indians, Hispanics, Native American women. We welcome you. Another one is military play, which is an event that we kicked off earlier this month in November around Veterans Day, which we celebrate here in the United States, but it recognizes and celebrates both active and veterans that have served not just the United States, but the armed forces anywhere in the world. It was a 3-day virtual tournament this year. Next year, we're taking it to Las Vegas, for a 3-day live tournament in November during the Veterans Day weekend, and would love to have you. It's a day of job fairs, there's a day of competitions, and more importantly, it's a day to talk about some of the concerns that face veterans and armed forces, helping them to transition to opportunities in esports and gaming, mental health, housing, and of course, finding jobs and needs.
Thank you very much for your answer. Our second question is, how can the gaming industry improve their outreach to groups that are underrepresented, or to the Black community in particular?
Another great question. I think the greatest way that the industry can reach out is going to be with resources. The greatest challenge, and not just for Blacks, but I think Hispanics and a lot of minority communities, is the lack of resources and access. Challenge with having some of the games have to be played on PCs. A lot of our colleges, communities, households don't have PCs. We work off mobile devices. So the opportunity to start getting more computers, especially gaming computers, into those areas, to be able to have the access via wiring and Wi-Fi, to be able to have the speed to be able to compete and connect, is another great opportunity, and some of the things that we're working on with BCGA. And we welcome any corporate partners and or individuals interested in supporting those goals and efforts. Because if you have a diversified space, as you know, in esports, it's unbelievable potential in what can happen, and it's only greater and just increases the equity that can happen with the overall industry and space.
Absolutely. Our third question is, what do you think are the most important steps to increasing diversity in the esports space, and where do you start?
Wow, these are some amazing questions. I think the greatest three opportunities is one, employment. Bringing in individuals who can, I think, first interns, so corporations have a chance to see their worth, and the equity and the value that it can bring to the table. Secondly, is to hire them for full-time opportunities. Thirdly, and probably most importantly, is to get them into roles where they're able to bring other individuals that look like them into the space. You can continue to diversify the pipeline. And then while they're there, they've got to have mentors or champions that help to develop them and to provide them with counsel and advice so they can continue to thrive and excel in the corporate space, especially around esports and gaming.
Wow, great questions, great answers to great questions. Our fourth question, if I can say that, is someone interested in your own gaming experience. So what can you tell us about your experience as a gamer?
Oh my gosh, like I said, a long time ago, and growing up, I was considered a tomboy. So I spent a lot of time playing against a lot of boys with Atari and Xbox. I currently own a PS4 and have it at my house. I am a huge athlete, traditional athlete. So I played basketball and football, and growing up in high school, dabbed with it a little bit in college. So even now, my favorite games are NBA 2K and Madden 21, or the whole Madden league and games. But I've also been kind of playing around with Rocket League and League of Legends. And I'm excited about learning more about those games. But my first love is always going to be around basketball. And usually when I'm at basketball, I try and have a mix of female and male players, which a lot of my friends are like, you can't do that. But I always like to push the envelope and try different things, and especially diversify the space.
Wow, that's really cool. Question number 5 is, are there any specific challenges that you have encountered or resistance that you've faced as you've been putting your message out there?
Another great question. What I've found is, especially around now, and I started the company after George Floyd was killed here in the United States. I'm not sure. Hopefully a lot of you saw the unfortunate incident, but that's what kind of sprung me into action to move even faster to get BCGA up and running. This esports, the gaming industry, is a very male-dominated space. And with me being an African-American female, creating history and going into a space that a lot of men are currently working in, and me having more of a traditional marketing, I have 9 years of brand management background, and have not been working in the direct esports and gaming space, I've had a lot of naysayers, especially men, and I've already had some copycats doing with Black Collegiate Gaming Association. But I was always raised to see when people copy you, that's a compliment to what you're doing. And, and I'm seeing it multiplied now and being expanded to other HBCUs and other individuals working in the HBCU space. So with that, I'm super, super excited. And they're also pushing the mission to get more Black college students involved in esports and gaming. And, I'm using my platform, like I said, not just for Black college students, but more importantly for women that look like me and brown women to also expand our opportunities in the industry.
Thank you very much for all of your answers, Keshia, and for being a part of GEES 2020, as well as for your informative speech earlier and just your involvement in the space. Thank you so much for being a part of this year's GEES.